Okay, so welcome. Let's see what happens. My internet has been up and down, so fingers crossed this works. So, we are in another full moon season, another intense build up to this climax of this full moon with the sun in Gemini. The moon is in Sagittarius. There's this partial eclipse going on right now. And then there's also the conjunction of Venus with the sun. So we're going to unpick all of this today and ask ourselves, what are the deeper meanings of Gemini, and what are the learnings and points that we can take with us, learning and evolving and growing? So those of you who are new to my meditations, my name's Ellie. I teach a kind of an esoteric form of meditation. I call it creative meditation. It's where we're actively lighten up all parts of our mental faculty. We are aligning upwards, we are aligning outwards, we are drawing in all we need to receive, and we are ultimately trying to connect into our soul and allow that soul to speak to us, to guide our purpose in our everyday life. So the first three signs of the zodiac are of utmost importance in what plays out for the next part of the zodiacal cycle. So that happens every year. Right now in 2020, this is a big deal. The seeds and ideas that we've been receiving in Aries, this is kind of end of March to end of April time. And then we're kind of starting to churn the soil and try to understand what habits that we as individuals have to change. We have to really confront our belief systems we're holding. We have to start to do some dirty work. And here in Gemini, it's all about writing the blueprint for what it is that we want our new world individually, in our partnerships, in our societies, and as a collective to look like. Okay, so we've been through fire. This is like will. The seed is being brought from the kind of lightest, highest vibrational planes into our actual brain, into an idea construct. And there are a load of stuff externally going on right now. And you as an individual will have received different ideas, different thoughts. But we as a collective are actually interpreting the same stuff because we are all part of one. We are one humanity. So these ideas that you've been having, these things that probably have been underlying through your life, we're reaching a point, a climactic point, as the energies of the age of Pisces are fully waning and the energies of the age of Aquarius are coming in. And here in 2020, we're like in the midpoint of those old ways leaving and this new age fully coming in. So we're reaching tipping point, okay? There's these ways that we've been living for centuries that are no longer serving us, and are serving us as individuals or as collective. So we're trying to unpick it all. And to do that, we have to go through what we call a period of harmony through conflict. And that doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be loads of wars, but it does mean this inner angst is coming up and out. And this is kind of what this virus has done to start with. So if we just look at this first external thing that has halted not quite everything, but it's slowed down everything on this earth, really drawing people into their own home environments, slowing things down, having to work in different ways, having to be around our family a lot more, a lot of difficult emotions coming up, and anything that is not right for us, right? It's not feeling good. It's uncomfortable. We're kind of drawing up the unconscious here through this uncomfortable new external situation. And what's drawing out of that is, different countries, we're drawing up different different shadows. And obviously, as a collective, humanity, it's all part of the same stuff. So we're purging out the unconscious shadow of governance. We're purging the unconscious imbalances in inequalities in race, in gender, in sexuality, in ways that we treat each other, and the economic systems that guide the world, and the way that our relationship with the natural world, our utilization of resources. So all of this is being born through the cycles, and we're in no means through it. This is the beginning. And this 2020 year, if you can imagine a fulcrum, this phase between 2015 and 2025, this is governed by Libra, which is the sign of the scales. This is where kind of karmas are kind of brought and judged. It's where we go through conflict and harmony to find a new balance point, a new way that we're going to try living together for another era. And of course, evolution goes on in those bigger cycles, but here we're in a massive tipping point. So I cannot stress that enough. You alive right now are an essential individual, an essential soul to this unraveling of one old era and one start of the new. So Gemini is the festival of humanity, sometimes called the festival of goodwill. And this final full moon of the first 3 moons, which create the ideas, look at the habits, look at the patterns, the way that we can actually bring those ideas into form, things that have to do that, writing the blueprint. Now, the blueprint is the interesting part, because we as individuals are not just this physical, emotional, mental thing. We are also a soul, and that soul nature is part of our duality. So it's not as simple as that, but I'm going to, for the basis of this meditation, we are going to be considering ourselves a choice. We're at this point in our lives, in humanity's lives, where we get to choose. Do we choose our ego? We choose the cycle of dominance and suppression, of competition, of always trying to get better and better than someone else? Or do we start to shift to listen to the soul side of us as individuals, the soul side of us as nations, the soul side of us as a humanity? So Gemini, renowned for being the dual, the sign of duality. It governs everything that has a polarity, a duality. It's about balancing the physical through to the spiritual, but writing the blueprint through the etheric. So the etheric body in all of this is very important, for the physical form is created through the etheric. Now, as your etheric body is like your energetic body. So if you can imagine everything that you have going on in your physical body, there's a map of it in energy. So when we get imbalanced in certain places, it causes dis-ease within our body. And it's the same as a nation. It's the same as in a humanity. It's even in relationships. If you consider the whole to be one organism, one being, that etheric body of that nation, individual, can get blocked sometimes. There can be imbalances in certain places. And some of you would be very well versed in the chakra system, which is one very useful tool of understanding the etheric body. It is like everything, it's a way of understanding things. It doesn't lay the whole picture, but it's how the soul imprints and creates and communicates into the physical realm. So the etheric body links up into light through spirit and then guides down mental thought forms, guiding emotions, and into physical form. So all are intrinsically linked, and they're intrinsically linked through the etheric body. So what you are creating in your life so far, you've done it through having a thought, having an idea, working out what you have to do practically, and then you may not have realized this, but you've created an etheric part of it for it to happen. And to do that, you've communicated, and it is communicated, and it develops its own personality and soul, or ego and soul, if you like. So everything that we create, whether it's an org or a group, whether it's an organization, whether it's a partnership, it then takes on its own ego. That's like our mask to be able to interact. But whether that mask aligns itself with selfish greed or with united oneness and love and pure consciousness, whatever word you use for that. Sometimes words really separate people. Is how it manifests. So the sign of Gemini, the polarities. So what we're doing today in this meditation is we're going to be doing two parts, because there is so much going on at the moment that's rising up old karma of our own, old unconscious patterns of our own as individuals, and also these massive ones of our collective. So emotions arise, and emotions can sometimes get in the way of us being really able to intuit whether we're going to choose our soul nature or whether we're going to choose our ego nature. So this is the real point of right now. Is humanity going to carry on doing the same thing that it's been doing, trying to go back to the same normal that was before? Is it going to try and keep suppressing people in the way that it's suppressed before? Or are we going to look to how can we serve the whole? How can we elevate everyone? How can we support everyone, share and shine a light on everyone? The good part of the astrology right now is because we have Venus in conjunct with the sun. Venus is the soul sign of Gemini. So probably you're aware of Mercury being the usual ruler of Gemini, because Gemini is the communicator. The people who have Gemini sun are very good talkers. I have Gemini sun. I love talking. I was teaching yoga, and if you did yoga with me, you knew I would talk as much as I would tell you where your feet were meant to be. So communication is part of it. The talking, speaking, yes, the understanding what is going on, the learning. And I see this lots on social media at the moment. People are like, okay, I'm going to learn more about the problems. I'm going to try and understand. And that is that Gemini side, really searching and want to understand, want to know, want to use the rational part of the brain. But there's also the soul side of a personality, because even soul side of Gemini. So even zodiacal signs have a personality and a soul, right? So I mean, they don't quite have egos, but they definitely have personalities. If a zodiac sign had a personality, now your Gemini would be a great teacher, witty and intelligent, and able to communicate big ideas really easily. But the soul side of that sign would be that they would be highly connected to their soul. That's the soul part through the etheric body. So people who have Gemini rising, or who are on the path and still have Gemini sun and have worked through some of the lower stuff, the manipulation stuff, the using the words and communications to get what you want in the world. There's lots of successful Geminis. I think I've seen that list of mass murderers, and I think Geminis come pretty high. Geminis are manipulative, can utilize words, can get what they want. But when aligned with their soul, they're incredibly effective at drawing in and out soul meaning, soul messages, and creating an imprint which comes from that place of the soul. So just drawing in the astrological aspects right now, we have this partial eclipse of the moon. The moon represents our lower nature or our ego or our personality. So the fact that it's partly eclipsed is actually quite good for the soul nature, because the soul nature can come forth a little bit more. So we have that going on. And then Venus, which is the esoteric ruler of Gemini, is elevating the soul side of the Gemini sign, which is being directed and influenced by the sun. So the moon being in Sagittarius is important in that the polarity between Gemini and Sagittarius is to be overcome and to be considered. So Gemini is mental. Gemini is thinking. Gemini is understanding and communicating. It's blah, 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 blah. Personality of Gemini may be manipulative with words, but also can be very scattered. Yeah. Whereas Sagittarius is fire and one-pointed. It's where the arrows are being fired towards the center of the sun, being the heart and the soul expression of the sun. Life, it's the sun gives us life. The sun is God, the heart of God, if you like. So we're literally aiming all of our arrows to that higher aspiration. So we do want to overcome that lower side of Gemini, which is going to keep us in the past cycle of the age of Pisces. And in the tipping point, hopefully, as we all more align with our soul, as we all get more conscious of who we are, of that soul nature, we have to go through that uncomfortable awareness of a subconscious nature, shadow, conditioning, whatever other word you want to put on it. And we come out the other side, and there we find our feet again in a new world, in a new era. So it's a big time to be alive. So we will begin our meditation. Find yourself in a comfortable seat or place. If you're sitting on a chair, do have your feet on the floor or cross-legged on any place that you are seated. Find a comfortable point for your spine. Sit up as tall as feels good, and maybe move your body just to get any uncomfortability out of it. And let's just come to the throat and the head. I'm really feeling that this is a time where we all need to speak up for the truth. Gemini, although Taurus we often associate with the throat, energetically, as energy moves through the zodiac in the year, we find the energy moving up to this throat center and wanting to express. The idea is known. We understand a little bit more what we want in our lives, and we want to communicate. And so if we don't communicate that truth, if we don't speak what we want, this area gets blocked. So bring your ear to either shoulder, Closing your eyes, bringing your palms down on your knees, lifting your crown up nice and tall, grounding through your sits bones. And let's just breathe. Let's just allow the air to flow in our body. Let's feel that air physically, and let's feel the etheric component of that air. The prana riding on the back of those oxygen molecules, hand in hand. And direct that breath to any bit of your body that needs it right now. Fill your lungs up with that air. Feel what it's like to be alive. Feel all of its vulnerability. Feel all of the emotions. Feel all of the sensations and let it go with the exhale. Know that you have a purpose here. You have a place here at the tipping point in an essential and pivotal point in humanity's evolution. Taking a big inhale, exhale through the mouth. And let's ground down through our sits bones, sending roots into the earth beneath you. Exhaling, rooting down. Inhale, drinking in nourishment that you need. Exhale, send those roots down. Inhale, drinking in what you need. With that exhale, now let go of what you don't need. Put into that exhale all that you personally want to let go of. Patterns, tendencies, feelings, sensations, whatever it is. You don't know what it is, but let it go. Make space for the new. And drinking up from those roots, up through the spine, up through the crown of your head, opening up through the crown of your head, but keep your roots strong and grow up through the crown of your head. Open those branches up to the highest, brightest, whitest light above you. Up to your highest self, your spiritual being. And draw that beingness down into your human doingness. And root down into that Mother Earth. Ground. Drink up what you need. Grow tall up through your spine, opening up through the crown, open your branches, open up to all the light, illumination that you need at this time. Raise your vibration, open up to all that you need to open up to. And root back down. You can only grow as tall as you can root deep. Growing back up again. Both Gemini and Sagittarius desires to move. It wants to travel, but we must keep ourselves rooted. We must keep ourselves grounded. And again, exhaling back down through your channel, rooting back into your earth. And into your heart, bring your awareness. As you draw up from your roots, center yourself in your heart. With your awareness in your heart, in your peripheral vision, see your roots beneath you. Feel that connection, that grounding cord, that which holds you down into the earth and upwards into the sky. Note that which is receiving the higher vibrations. This is your vertical axis. This is which connects your spiritual self to your physical one through all of the other dimensions of who you are. And in your heart, breathe. Now today, bring one hand or two hands to your heart and gain an awareness of the electromagnetic field around your heart. Feel it vibrate into your palm of your hand. Breathe into that palm. Feel the vibration of that hand, that palm. Feel the vibration of that heart. Your hands are extensions of your heart. Breathe as you allow your heart to expand. Feel that electromagnetic force. Feel the etheric nature of that soul force through your heart extending to your palms. And breathe. Releasing one hand, still with your awareness in your heart, allow your heart to expand to connect to those people in your family or your friendship group or those that you interact with on a daily basis. And connect to them as souls, as points of consciousness. And from there, allow your connection to expand out to the whole of humanity. Here is your horizontal axis. Note the cross that you've now made energetically. And with your eye gaze inwards and upwards, up through the branches above the crown, open up to receive what you need to receive right now. Just be open, open-minded. That's why that term is called such. We're literally opening up all those fixed mindsets, fixed beliefs, and open up to receiving what you need to receive. Don't try to manipulate it or create it. Communicate with your soul. Communicate with your higher self. Higher self is another word for your soul. Becoming conscious of who you are is becoming soul conscious. Feeling that white light coming down through the crown of your head into that point of your third eye, center of intuition, knowing, insight, you may see, you may feel, you may not know anything at all right now, but you're receiving, you're open. With every exhale, soften and open up a little more. It's as if we let go of every identity that we have and we become open to new ones. New identities that serve our soul. New ideas, new ways of living, new ways of communicating, new ways of traveling, new ways of learning. All of this is opening up before our eyes right now. The age of 9 to 5s is dying. The age of dominating is ending. The age of serving each other is beginning. And compassionate living, centered around our real values and our own inner truths. Drawing those impressions, those ideas, those sensations into your heart. And with your peripheral vision again, down to your roots, up to your branches, and from your heart, breathe and allow that heart filled with those impressions to expand. Take a big inhale, exhale through the mouth. Now we go into the stage of distribution, going into your mind's eye. And from your mind's eye upwards to the highest point of light, draw down as much light into your eye and out to all those individuals that make our humanity. And we're sending light, we're sending illumination. We're inviting all to open up to that intuition and that inner knowingness. Light. And then into your heart. Into your heart, breathing. Drawing from the deepest place of love, upwell that love into your heart and send that love to all the individual hearts that make our collective. Sending them love. Love which connects them to their soul. Love which brings about conscious actions. So that they may know that they are loved, know that they are connected, know that we are part of a whole. And feel all of that, the king of the emotions, the heart. And then into your deepest core, from the deepest place that will arises from within you, drawing up and invoking your purpose to come up and into your center, and to all others, invoking and asking that all find their purpose, all live their passion, taking action every day towards living with goodwill, living to their values, living to our highest values. And each day, step by step, walking towards our individual and our collective purpose on this planet. Coming back to your breath. Exhale, root down through your sits bones. Integrate what has happened up through the channel to the branches. And back down through your whole body, through that etheric system, down through your roots. And again, upwards. And downwards. Breathing in. Letting go. Breathing in. Letting go. Sounding Om 3 times. Take an inhale and exhale to start with. Or just listen and lie back. Inhale for 3 Oms. Take a big inhale, exhale through your mouth, and just let your body soften, lie back. Take any movement and just let your body sit. If you were cross-legged, change the crossings or stretch the legs out. So right now, I'm going to just send 5 minutes of healing light. So wherever you are, just let your body fully relax. If you want to lie back, get yourself comfortable. Let your body become heavy. Let yourself ground. Let yourself feel the earth. Gaia. Earth too has both a physical and a spiritual nature. Earth too has an etheric system. And letting your etheric system be absorbed into the Earth's etheric system. Letting the fear flow. Letting the grief flow. Letting the anger transform into positive action within your core. Let your whole body relax. Let your whole body know that it's all going to be okay. It's all going to work out. Because you're walking your path to truth. The only choice here is between your ego and your soul. Which path are you going to choose? That is your free will. Everything that happens in humanity's evolution is not written in the stars, it's influenced by them. Allowing your body to feel the vibrations of your subtler form, the vibration of your etheric nature. And wherever you scan to and find a place of sticking, breathe into it and let it go. Aspire to work through those blocks one by one, aiding the communication of your soul with your personality. Defeating the ego so that your new mask can be worn. We all need one. Just what is it going to be? What identity do you choose to associate with? And from your etheric nature, come to your heart. Again, go deep into that place of pure consciousness. This is the child of your spiritual self and your physical self. Where form and spirit come together, we have consciousness, we have soul. Breathing out anything that's blocking your communication with your soul. And invite them in. Invite that soul force in. Feel energy coming in through your system, feeling alive, vibrant, topping you up from your toes through your legs, bringing you power, connecting you back to your gut instinct, connecting you back to your passion. What are you passionate about? What do you stand for? And then drawing that up, fueling it with that heart magnetism of soul force. And let's focus on our throats. Let's invite that energy to expand, illuminate, and express itself truthfully through our words, through our actions, through the things we do, through the things we create. It doesn't all have to be verbal. It's how we communicate. It's how we express in this world. And let that all be galvanized by that soul's magnetism that is the real you. Take a big inhale and exhale. Swallow, release your jaw. Just let go of the angry words that you have not spoken. Let them go. Let go. And then into your mind's eye. You have all the wisdom there. You have all that you need to know within you. Breathe into that place and release anything that's blocking that connection. Allow things to soften. Allow your forehead to expand. Only you know what's right for you. Only you know your purpose. Only you know who you really are. But through you discovering your own self, you become more authentic in your words, in your actions, in the things you create. And that sends ripples. Feel those ripples sending out from your body and your being. And feel through that your connection to all of humanity. Your connection both through your physical form and through your soul and through the vibration of life that ignites and inspires you. Allowing all of that to integrate as you just let yourself be. So coming to in your own time, it was a longer session than normal. Join me next month. I know a lot will have happened in that time. We'll move after this into the Cancer phase. So the real question in Cancer is, are we going to stick with the familiar patterns of the past, of our family, of our own unconscious patterns, or are we going to step into the next future that we create together? So until next time, may you know all you have to know, and feel all that you have to feel, and be all that you are. Namaste.